So Joe Biden reportedly wants to return to the JCPOA. I wonder if you have any thoughts on that.
I think it was a flawed agreement, and I think that far from blocking Iran's path to the bomb, it paved its way, but it paved it with gold. I mean, literally with gold, with an enormous amount of money that was put into Iran's coffers. They promptly used it not to build Iran, not to give it, water management resources that would better the lives of the Iranian people, but to fund an unbelievable campaign of conquest. And they spread out right after the JCPOA. You see them expanding into Iraq, expanding into Yemen, expanding into Iraq, seeking to establish military bases in Syria, supporting with greater funds Hezbollah, supporting Islamic Jihad and Hamas in Africa, in Asia and other places, fostering their terrorism. So if the idea was this tiger will be tamed, in fact, what the JCPOA did was to open the gate of the cage, open the door and let the tiger loose to a campaign of plunder and conquest that was threatening to overrun the Middle East in horrible ways. Plus, if Iran was able to develop, according to the JCPOA, with international approval, to develop the advanced centrifuges that multiplied tenfold, many times, the capacity to enrich uranium very quickly. So they could be in a position to enrich uranium, mounds and mounds of uranium, the critical factor in making atom bombs, and then burst to the bomb in no time. And all that they needed was a change of calendar. They weren't asked for any change of behavior. This is essentially what I said in the speech. Change it. It cannot be based on the sunset clause that merely says, as time passes, Iran will do it. Well, time passed. Iran was working on advancing these centrifuges, violating the various commitments that they have under the NPT and the JCPOA. We brought this information to the world, to the United States, and to the world after the raid we conducted on Iran's nuclear archive, secret nuclear archive, brought it to Israel, and then disseminated worldwide. So you see, Iran is both an aggressor in terms of developing nuclear weapons, and an aggressor virtue of the money that was given by the rescinding of the various constraints and the various sanctions on Iran. So we got the worst of both worlds. And Iran with a nuclear umbrella, Iran with nuclear weapons is a very dangerous thing for the world, for the United States. It's developing ICBMs, which it wants to tip with the nuclear payloads. You don't use ICBMs for anything else, to reach America. Any American city. Now you say, well, that's not a real problem. It's not, is it? Well, take a country that has a fraction of Iran's GDP. It's a smaller country. That's North Korea. And understand what the arming of North Korea with ballistic missiles and ICBMs and nuclear weapons means to the United States. But Iran is infinitely, not infinitely, but many times more dangerous than North Korea because it has a radical ideology. It chants death to America, death to Israel. They need it. If they have the capacity to threaten mass death, that puts America in a different place automatically. There's a global player that all at once enters the global arena with the ability to destroy your cities. And having that capacity allows that Iranian regime not only to threaten you with nuclear weapons, but to threaten you with conventional weapons, you and your ally, because they have a nuclear umbrella. So you both increase the conventional threat and the nuclear threat. And one has to understand that such weapons in the hands of the Ayatollahs is not such weapons in the hands of the Netherlands. It's fundamentally different. So you have to, I think the JCPOA was actually paving the way for both types of threats as they emerged and were realized. And I think it's a mistake to go back to this. So if you want that's the long answer. The short answer, it's a mistake to go back to the JCPOA. You shouldn't go back to that flawed agreement.